Good evening, hockey fans, and welcome in to the AAU Division One National Championship Reveal Show. Tonight, 16 teams from around the AAU Division One level will find out that their ticket has been punched to nationals, and will see the route they must take to raise a cup and win a title in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida. And I would not be able to put content like this out, put it together, make it, create it, without a man who does literally all that work behind the scenes, as well as co hosting the Dan K Show with myself. Here he is, my right hand man, my consigliere, mon frere from another mare, Lucas Jones. Welcome into the Dan K Show presents the AAU Division One National Championship Reveal Show.
Thank you, Dan. And thanks to the AAU and all of the AAU parents, players, and fans who, via this reveal, are welcoming us into your living rooms, onto your cell phones, into your cars, wherever you may be watching or listening to this reveal show. You're going to be seeing our faces a lot more. And I couldn't be more excited for this to be the introduction. Dan, if there's one thing we love more than hockey, it's playoff hockey.
If you're wondering who we are a show that has existed in the junior hockey world for the last decade, covering teams from all throughout the US and Canada, and covering this great game of hockey, reaching over 15 million eyes per year. But today, we focus on the AAU National Championship reveal for Division One hockey. Lucas, we talk about this tournament structure. It's one that we have grown to love. It's one where if you played it 5 times, you had 5 different champions. If you played it 10 times, you'd have 10 different champions. If you played it 100 times, maybe 99. I gotta imagine someone at some point starts repeating, because there's only 16 teams in this tournament. I'm not a math guy, but what I am is your pool play, I would say, accountant, Lucas. You've seen me before. A little bit of Steve Kornacki these folks are going to get throughout this tournament.
Yeah, if there's one thing that Dan K loves, it is getting his hands on a dry erase marker. With a dry erase marker, Dan can paint a picture of futures that have yet to arrive, of pasts that, depending on how they shook out, could be interesting, could be dangerous, could be spicy as we continue to play hockey. We are going to be guiding you through all of the different iterations of what this tournament could bring. And one thing that we have heard from folks around the AAU is that this year, this tournament, truly, if you played it 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, you might get 5, 10, 20 different results.
You can watch along with the Dan K Show all tournament long in the AAU Division 1, 2, and 3 for game recaps, Sports Center style, for highlights from the best of the best, and most importantly, for updates on your team's route to punch their ticket to the semifinals and have a chance to win a title during pool play. I think it's time, Lucas, to break down the tournament structure. Are you ready?
I could not be more ready, Dan.
Folks at home, in the same way that the SpongeBob SquarePants song introduces you in to participate, are you ready? Aye, aye, Captain. Let's take it through the pool play structure. We'll start with 16 participants. We will have 4 teams in each pool. Those 4 teams will each play one another in a round robin style. 3 games over 3 days. Day one, Wednesday, March 5th, you will see the highest seed in each pool, the 1 seed, playing against the lowest seed in each pool. The second highest seed will take on the third highest seed. On day 2 of the event, Thursday, March 6th, the highest seed will now meet the third highest seed in the pool. The second will face the fourth. Finally, pool play will culminate in a 1v2 matchup in each pool and a 3v4 matchup. Those seeds we are referencing are the seeds you come in with. When we unveil each pool, we will tell you who will serve as the 1 and 2, the 3 and the 4 in each pool. At the conclusion of pool play, 1 team will advance victorious in each pool.
Well, as always, I'm disappointed when there is no chili cook-off that is a part of our pool play events. Formally applying for that to be our tiebreaker number 8. I will say this, though, Dan, we do have a lot of experience in these pool play events with these tiebreakers. We have done nearly every level of tiebreaker. We have never gotten to a coin flip level, but every year there's always a group of people that talk about these these different differentials, these tiebreakers, these little things. You know how you avoid them? You mentioned it earlier. You just got to win. If you win all three games, you don't have to worry about it. Once you start putting losses into the equation, all of a sudden day three gets very, very interesting. We talked about that's where you shine with your analysis, Dan, but that's where the pool play gets really, really spicy. Is that day three, if you've got teams with some losses, every single game, every single minute, every single goal could be pivotal.
The national semifinal will pit together those four teams that advance, one from Pool A, one from B, one from C, and one from D. Those teams will then be reseeded based on their final national ranking. That means if it's all chalk, as they say, the 1 seed, the 2 seed, the 3 seed, the 4 seed, all win their prospective pools. One would play four, two would play three. If the 14, 15, and 16 advanced, it would be the 1 versus the 16, the 14 versus the 15. They would then turn into 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order. That is how you will see it reseeded. The single elimination format determines the two finalists. Easy enough at that point. It is win and you're in, lose and go home. Your national championship game will be on Sunday, March 9th, with the two semifinal winners facing off with the highest remaining seed serving as your home team. Lucas, some lore from this AAU national championship. One, a number one's never won it. We'll unveil the number one in just moments here for all of you at home. Lucas, I think you have some things about the past two national champions as well.
Dan, the past two national championships have lost in pool play the year after they win. 21-22, Babson College wins. Then in 22-23, they're eliminated in pool play. Then in 22-23, Binghamton University wins the national championship. Then in 23-24, they are eliminated in pool play. Last season, South Carolina defeated the Buffalo Bulls. So South Carolina could be on the chopping block.
Lucas, South Carolina could be on the chopping block with that lore, with that jinx of winning it all the year before. They may not make it out of pool play if things continue with that trend. Another team that may continue on the trend of number one overalls not winning it all. It is the start of Pool A or Group A. You call it as you want to see it, but we call it Group A here. The number one University of Georgia Ice Dogs. Lucas, who's that coming down the tracks? It's the Ice Dogs of Georgia at the number one overall seed in Group A.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the lore, as we just talked about, the University of Georgia, they might be feeling a little bit of pressure. They might be feeling that as the number one seed. There always is, but they are in Group A with some tough to deal with schools.
Now you look at Group A, it will be made up and assembled of a true snake format, and that goes for all the groups in pool play, Lucas. Outside of the need to maybe account for not having three teams from the same region in any of these groups, this is a true snake format the AAU leadership will be unveiling this year. We talked with a few of the folks in leadership here, and they mentioned, Lucas, in the past, there have been different ways that these groups have been assembled to try a lot of times to give the number one the easiest route out of pool play. That hasn't worked the way they've wanted it to in past years. So this year, it is just a true snake, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4 across the board, serving as the top team in each pool, and then just snaking right back. Fours with five, threes with six, twos with seven, ones with eight. That 8 seed and the second team in Group A, Niagara University's Purple Eagles.
Yeah, and this Niagara side is an interesting one. We've heard a lot of chatter about them as well. They've got to win in the regular season and conference playoff against a top five team, so they are no stranger to having to play tough competition. But for Niagara, they are certainly looking above them at that number one seed, and they're ready to rock.
Yeah, and Lucas, Niagara's day one opponent, again, it will be 2 versus 3 in each group on day one, 1 versus 4. Niagara's day one opponent, someone they know well in their region, the number 9 Binghamton University Bearcats. It's a full-on Northeast battle.
For my money, Dan, there is nothing more exciting than 8v9 in any tournament. That is where I think some of the best matchups are historically. That's where some of the best competition is. Binghamton, Niagara, that's going to be a fun one to watch.
Finally, the 16 seed and the last team to make it into the tournament just by the hairs of their chinny chin chin. The guys from Connecticut, the Sacred Heart University Pioneers, they will be tasked with taking on a very difficult to deal with University of Georgia side.
Yeah, the Pios have some history, but they are going to have to take on a school that is excelling at hockey and athletics across the board. University of Georgia, no small dog. They're going to have to battle the big dogs first.
Lucas, you look at this Group A before we get on to unveiling Group B, and you talk about each one of these teams will have to see each other once. Binghamton, a team that went 15-5-2 this season with 104 goals for. Niagara, a team from that same division, from that same conference up there, 11-8-1, 26 points in the year, 104 goals for. Both of these teams around that plus 40 goal differential. These teams can score the puck. They can stop the puck. They play a 200-foot game, solid rosters on each side. And the other side of things, a University of Georgia team that's always a tough team to travel to and play. 19 wins on the season for them, a plus 59 goal differential, and a Sacred Heart team, Lucas, that is going to have their hands full trying to take this Georgia team on.
And if you think that Group A is going to have some interesting matchups, we're about to peer behind the curtain and let you know these other groups are going to be just as fun to watch.
100%. Remember, day one, Wednesday, March 5th, you will see Georgia take on Sacred Heart and Niagara take on Binghamton. Then Georgia will take on Binghamton as Sacred Heart takes on Niagara. On day three, you will get that 1v2 matchup between Georgia and the boys from Niagara University as Binghamton takes on Sacred Heart with everything on the line, a semifinal berth potentially to be punched. In Group B, Lucas, your number two overall seed in the tournament. From right then, I can look out my window and I can throw a stone at these guys. It's the University of Tampa Spartans coming in at number two.
Well, University of Tampa, you might be able to throw a stone at them, but they've been busy firing pucks into the back of the net. They have the best goal differential in college hockey South in D1. So this is a school that not just can put pucks in the net, but they have a defense that can match the second best defense just behind the University of Georgia. So they are going to be a tough competitor at number two.
Yeah, 17 wins this season. You talked about that goal differential. The University of Tampa will be joined in this group by the two seed in Group B, the number seven overall nationally, the St. Bonaventure University Bonnies, baby.
And the Bonnies are a fun program to watch. You know, they've got the highest goal differential in the upstate New York Collegiate Hockey League. Right now, Group B, Dan, might be shaping up to be absolute fire wagon group of hockey.
Yeah, and you want to talk about fire wagon group of hockey. You want to talk about a group that's got some teams that know each other well, some teams that don't. How about at number 10 overall in the nation, number three in this group? They'll play the Bonnies on day one of the tourney. Fairfield University Stags, the boys from Connecticut. They're a little bit far from New Haven pizza, Lucas, but I'll tell you what, they are bringing that Connecticut hockey grit with them from Fairfield.
Connecticut hockey is on the rise and has been for some time, Dan. And I think Fairfield here, after a close to a 500 season in terms of the wins and the losses, I think they're ready to come represent Group B.
Finally, the 15 seed in this group, the Auburn University Tigers. Lucas, they will play the University of Tampa on day one, and these two have seen each other before.
Yes, they have. In the 2023 national tournament, the University of Tampa defeated Auburn University 3-1. So Auburn here as the 15th national seed surely is going to be looking for a little bit of revenge this season.
Remind you folks as well tuning in that you will have a chance to watch along with the Dan K show leading up to the tournament for our pool selections, our national champion predictions leading into the tournament. Again, you will watch the Dan K show, so be sure to go down and hit that little bell on your screen, like and subscribe to this video so you can see all of the content coming up in the days henceforth leading up to the tournament, both at the Division 1 level as we talked about today, and the Division Two and Division Three coming up in the future, as well as the Women's AAU Championships as well. Lucas, Group C. Group C, the three seed overall, the defending national champions, the Gamecocks of the University of South Carolina.
Yeah, this is one where we talked about the pressure on the number one Georgia team, South Carolina, as last year's champions. The lore tells us that they might not escape pool play, but I think the University of South Carolina might have something to say about that. Wins versus top five teams this year, Dan. The University of South Carolina, they've got one under their belt. They're used to this competition. I think they're looking ahead with a lot of positivity.
No team in AAU Division One hockey scored more times than the University of South Carolina. This is a high-flying, high-scoring team, 149 goals on the year. They've got championship pedigree in that locker room. Lucas, they say losing is catch it. It can be a disease for folks. Well, winning is catch it too. When you learn how to win, it's hard to shake the ability to win. The University of South Carolina has winners in that locker room. Another team, though, with winners in that locker room, a team that in the sixth spot overall has a chance to win it all. Farmingdale State College Rams, Lucas, at number six overall, number two in Group C.
Yeah, I think for Farmingdale, I mean, you look at a school that finished first in the Empire Collegiate Hockey Conference. They had a plus 31 goal differential, the best offense in that conference as well. So, I mean, Farmingdale, I think not only is coming into this tournament prepared in terms of what they bring to the table, but as we'll talk about, got some experience against a few other teams.
Yeah, and this University of Delaware team, Lucas, that we unveil at number three in Group C, number 11 overall, the University of Delaware Blue Hens. This is a team right now. This school is growing in all facets. You talk about in the NCAA ranks, they're moving up to Division One in football this year. Okay, this is a school that's growing their athletics programs. This AAU hockey team is a difficult one to deal with. They've got a real grinded out style. They can play the game, man. This is just a tough team to play day in and day out. You had South Carolina, Farmingdale, Delaware, all of this group. This is a real murderer's row of squads here, and we haven't even gotten to the fourth team yet.
Yeah, this is certainly shaping up to potentially be the group of death here in Group C. Farmingdale actually had a game against the University of Delaware in the 2023 national tournament. Farmingdale ends up winning that game 3-1. So similar when we talked about U Tampa and Auburn, I think the University of Delaware might be looking up at that sixth national seed, second team in the group, and saying, "How about us? How about this year?"
And Lucas officially making it the pool of death, the 14th seed and fourth overall in this group, the University of Alabama Crimson Tide. The Tide roll into this one, Lucas. Don't look at the overall record. Look at the fact that under 500 in the win-loss tally, they're still in the plus side of goal differential. This is a team that plays everyone tight, plays every game close. They're going to play South Carolina on day one of this tourney. You are going to have a full on big name SEC battle that you can only get here in AAU hockey.
Yeah, you're seeing schools with storied histories of athletics playing against each other that normally you don't get to see play against each other, right? So you are getting a chance to see something unique here in the AAU, but Alabama has seen Farmingdale before. As we said, Farmingdale has a lot of experience against teams in this group in previous national tournaments. In the 2024 national tournament in pool play, the University of Alabama fell to Farmingdale by a score of 6-0. Alabama, though, same animal, different beast, I think, this year. They'll also be looking for some revenge against Farmingdale.
Yeah, we look at the schedule in this group. Day one will be South Carolina, the one versus the four, Alabama. Farmingdale State will take on Delaware. Then South Carolina will take on the Delaware Blue Hens on day two, as Farmingdale State takes on the University of Alabama. Final day of this one, South Carolina, Farmingdale. I'm putting the Gamecocks on upset alert right now. Again, you got to stay tuned for our picks, but I'm going to put a little alert bell up because upset alert, I think this Farmingdale State team comes in with a chip on their shoulder and looking to make some things happen. You talked about this as a team that beat up on Alabama in 23-24 pool play 6-0. They know the teams well in this group. They know how to play them. Watch out. Let's go to Group D. The final four teams to punch their ticket to the AAU Division One National Championships, and it all starts the Volunteers of the University of Tennessee. Old Rocky Top, Lucas, at number four overall in the country.
Yeah, and University of Tennessee, they have had a lot of experience against top five teams. They've got 4 wins in the regular season and conference playoffs combined. So Tennessee is coming into this one. They were first ranked in College Hockey South during the regular season with a .840 points percentage. They've got 4 wins against top 5 teams. They dominated in the regular season. They dominated in the big time matchups. Coming in as the number 4 seed in Group D, Group D is going to have to watch out for Tennessee.
Yeah, this is a Tennessee team that they see the best of the best every chance they get. They play tough competition, they play a tough schedule, and they're going to get a tough schedule in this Group D because the number 2 overall seed, you only go down one spot. You talk about that snake, right? One, two, three, four. Four's Tennessee, so they get the 5 as the 2 seed in Group D, the University at Buffalo Bulls. And this Buffalo team, we just talked about it. They were 60 minutes away from raising a national championship trophy just last year.
Yeah, and when you get that close and you don't come away with hardware, next year is your revenge tour as a program, right? You were right there. You're 60 minutes away. Now you come in as the number 5. You're in the same pool as the number 4. Your path is tough, but iron sharpens iron, Dan. For Buffalo, they are looking up at that number 4 University of Tennessee, and all they see is a speed bump on their road back to the championship.
Another speed bump on that road, the number 12 overall Quinnipiac University Brave. This is a team out of Hamden, Connecticut, Lucas, that they can take it to you any given night.
You want to talk about hockey lineage, hockey royalty. Look no farther, I think, than Quinnipiac, right? At every level of the game, they are a school that is storied within the hockey community, coming in as the number 12 overall here. I think for the Brave, they've got something to prove. They've also got to play a Buffalo team that they have played before as well. In last year's national tournament, Quinnipiac beat the University at Buffalo 6-4 in pool play scenario. So they already have some experience beating the team from Buffalo, but every year is a little bit different, and that's why we play the games.
Lucas, the fourth and final team in this group, a chomp, a chomp. I hear Gator coming down the track from the University of Florida. The Gators, Lucas, get that final spot in Group D.
Yeah, University of Florida, they had a tough season. They battled a lot of even close hockey games, but I think this is a team that comes in and they look at, Quinnipiac, as we talked about hockey royalty, Tennessee and Buffalo, the 4 and the 5, and they're right there along with these teams, right? They're able to look at a group that certainly could be the most chaotic of all of the groups, especially with that 4-5 sitting at the top. And they've got a lot of opportunity. If they keep these games close, they battle hard to the end. There's a lot of points to be had in a chaotic pool, Dan.
Lucas, we have unveiled the 16 teams in this tournament. We now know who they are. We run back through as Dan K scrolls up his screen here at home. Group A, the University of Georgia serving as your number 1 overall seed. To remind you, a number 1 overall has yet to raise the cup in the history of the AAU Division I National Championship. Will the University of Georgia shake off the snide for the number 1 team and win it all? You'll have to stay tuned to watch. They will take on Niagara University, Binghamton University, and Sacred Heart University in Group A. Group B, the University of Tampa Spartans will serve as the 2 overall seed nationally, the number 1 in Group B, along with St. Bonaventure University's Bonnies, the Fairfield University Stags, and the Auburn University Tigers out of College Hockey South. In Group C, the University of South Carolina Gamecocks, your defending national champions, a team that also had over 500 penalty minutes this year. Watch out for some hard-hitting action in Group C that we are entitling the Group of Death, the toughest group to get out of here. The number 6 side Farmingdale State College Rams, the 11 the University of Delaware Blue Hens, and the 14 the University of Alabama Crimson Tide round that one out. Finally, Group D, the University of Tennessee Volunteers, Old Rocky Top, joined by the University at Buffalo Bulls, the Quinnipiac University Brave, and the University of Florida Gators. That is your 16-team field. It will all start on Wednesday, March 5th. Lucas, your thoughts before we close out this reveal show?
I love pool play. I do, because it gives a sense of competition that sometimes you don't get in a single game elimination tournament. Yes, you will have that in the semifinals and the finals after pool play. But I think one of the great things about pool play is it creates a little chaos, creates a little uncertainty. Yes, you've got one seeds. Yes, you've got 16 seeds, but there are points to be had here. There are tough games to be played. You have an entire regular season. You have conference playoff games. But now the next season is just 3 games. If you can win 2 of those games, you set yourself up nicely to exit your pool. If you can win 3 games, you're out, baby. You're headed on to the next thing. So ignore what has happened up until now. You focus on your group, you win those 3 games, you make it to the single elimination round, and then the next season starts. And that season, well, that's just 2 games. And at the end of it, there's some hardware.
Lucas, we had a great call the other night talking with some league leadership, some big AAU fans and supporters as well, about how to cover this event, about how to cover things going forward in the AAU with this awesome announcement about the Dan K Show working along with the incredible crew here in AAU college hockey. And they talked about people want hot takes, and we told them we're not afraid to have you folks at home a little bit fired up at us, a little bit angry at us, putting a little bulletin board material up. And we're going to have that coming up in spades over the next few days and weeks here, leading to puck drop in the national tournament. Also, throughout the national tournament, we will put our names on some big predictions. So stay tuned to all social media channels for AAU College Hockey, as well as at the Dan K Show. Go follow that as well. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, all platforms. Give it a follow. You can follow along the best show in all of hockey, the Dan K Show, to keep up to date with the AAU Division One National Championships for college hockey coming up in just a few days here, Lucas. We are less than 3 weeks away from puck drop in Jacksonville, the Sunshine State. Who will win it all? You will have to wait and see and watch along on YouTube right here. All I got to say yet again, I think Lucas laid it out for you. Do not allow yourself in pool play to go to a tiebreaker. If you win 3 pool play games, a semifinal game, and a championship, 5 wins, you control your own destiny. For one time every season, every team controls their own destiny. It is playoff time. It is national championship time. 5 wins away for some team out of these 16.